Morning guys. So going to be taking you through daily life. I'm just got some tea. I'm about to go take Nala for her first walk. So I'm going to go get her up. Oh, fuck, that is bright. Here she is. She's getting a little bit too big for this crate. She only needs for a few more weeks. Let's go for a walk. And she is off to do her business. Okay, I'm gonna go for this walk and then I will be back for breakfast. I'll talk to you guys pretty much about the plan for the rest of the day. Come on. Stop. Come on. Nala goes a bit nuts in the morning. It's pretty much her favorite time of the day. She gets her breakfast and she gets some attention. So before I have my breakfast, she always gets hers. Something that I've been doing with her is I'll actually hide her food around the house and then she's got to go find it. Nala, come on. As you can see, she is... Sit down. Good girl. Stay there. Now I've got to find somewhere to hide it. The first few times she did it, like she had no idea what was going on. It took her ages to find it, but now she's gotten pretty good. I've got these foam mattresses, which I'm actually cutting up for the van. That's the last part of it. So I'm gonna hide it right behind that. Let's see how long it takes her to find it. What are you doing? Back to your room. No, this way. She can hear my voice, that's why. Usually she's... Stay there. Let's try that again. Has no self-control. Nala, find it. Here we go. Ah, fuck. Oh, she fucking saw me hide it. A little... That doesn't count. Too smart for her own good. I'm going to make my breakfast now and then have a coffee. And then pretty much the agenda for today. Today's Thursday. So main thing for me to do today, I've got to film a little bit of content, which I ran out of time to film yesterday. So I've got to film that, film those, edit all of those as well straight afterwards or later this afternoon. And then train upper body, go for either a beach walk or a bush walk. Just gonna kind of see which I feel like doing it after training. Follow up with a couple clients. I've got a couple clients at the moment who are in a calorie deficit and cutting. So just kind of touching base with them a little bit more frequently than like all the other clients, just because they need a bit more accountability and there's a few more things changing and all that. So pretty much morning is content, train, and then afternoon walk, touching base with clients and a couple new potential clients as well, which is exciting. And then just kind of chill for the rest of the day. I'm gonna have breakfast and then I'll see you throughout the rest of the day. Okay, so filmed the rest of those videos that I was meaning to film yesterday. Did that. I actually checked in with a couple of the clients as well. Like I said, I've got a couple clients who are in a cut at the moment. One a bit more aggressive of a cut, and then the other one is a bit more of like a slow, steady sort of cut over 12 plus weeks or so. So two very, very different approaches, which is awesome. I always like that. It's good to kind of do something a little bit different on my end. Now I'm going to eat my pre-workout meal. I'm going to tidy the van a little bit, take Nala for a short walk before the gym, and then go train upper body and then take her for a proper walk, head to the beach or a bush walk. Something that I have been thinking about recently that's been actually like a bit of a challenge since basically like leaving Melbourne, leaving full-time job and moving up here. Like it's great up here. Definitely something that's being a bit of a challenge for me has like just staying accountable to myself. Obviously when I was in Melbourne, yes, technically I'm working for myself, but there's clients that I have to show up for in person. I've got a boss who runs the gym. They're providing the space for me to work. So there's other people that I am accountable to. Whereas now it's basically just me. Yeah, there's still my clients online, but it's very, very different. Like I can pretty much choose when I work within reason, or significantly more so than what I was doing when I was in Melbourne. So I would say that's like definitely been a little bit of a challenge, is just getting into a regular routine and then sticking to that routine especially if I feel tired one day or I'm like, oh, I could just do it tomorrow, I could do it tonight. It definitely took me a good couple weeks to really get in some sort of rhythm up here. I feel like these last 3 weeks, I've like really nailed it as well as it could be. Like obviously there's some days where I don't like stick to it as well as other days, but that's just part of it, and that's something I've got to deal with. But definitely just, yeah, like something I've been thinking about is like, it's great being able to work online and be your own boss and have your own schedule that you kind of choose. But definitely the downside of that is that you're doing everything. You're responsible for the wins if you do stick to your routine, and then you're also responsible for those times when you don't. So there's lots of pros and cons to it, but that's just something that I think not a lot of people talk too much about, and it's something that I've definitely been experiencing, wanting to kind of, I guess, share a little bit about, because it can look like it's going very well online or through social media, and then you don't really know all the behind the scenes of it. Pre-workout meal is just some fruit, corn thins with some honey, obviously another coffee, and upper body today. Training's been going very well, especially after a couple months ago. I had that really bad nerve pain, which some of you may know, some of you may not, especially if you're a bit newer on here, but I had some really bad nerve pain through my arm and shoulder. So very, very grateful that that is pretty much past, or the worst of it is at least. I'm gonna prep this, eat it, and then talk to you about basically like the plan for the next couple weeks of me starting to get on the road, which is very exciting, but I'll talk to you about that in a second. I've pretty much spent these last 2 to 3 months building up the van, which you would have seen in the video that I put up the other week. Hopefully you can hear me properly. Now there's playing with a stick or something. But yeah, like the van build is basically done now. I just got to get like the mattress done. Besides that, it's just waiting on like 1 or 2 other things that I need to be delivered before I get on the road. Just like a few small things here and there. 1.5 or 2 weeks until I'm actually properly on the road, and then basically driving down to Victoria from Byron Bay. Gonna stay in Victoria for a month or 2. Gonna kind of town hop a few different places. Got some hiking, which I'm gonna be doing as well with some of some mates, and then I want to do some solo hiking as well, which can be very cool. Definitely taking Nala on those ones, so I've got to find some places where I can do like a overnight or 2-night, and also take a dog as well. That's pretty much the plan, and then basically drive back up until I get back to Byron Bay over a couple months. So I should be back here by Christmas. That's the plan. And then after that, go to Tassie, do the exact same thing there, but spend like a good 2, 3, maybe a bit longer. The whole goal of this is basically to have a few places that I want to go, and then kind of use them as my home base for a couple of weeks, and then move on to the next one, but not really have like a sort of timeline or a set structured plan of basically, okay, here I'm going here on this day, and then so on like that. That will basically just be a bit more go with the flow, but having some sort of structure and the freedom with it as well. And for some working online, I can kind of just pick and choose like that, which is the benefit of it. Yeah, that's basically the plan for the next couple weeks and months. So basically on the road in 2-ish weeks or so, give or take, which is very exciting. Gonna go train. I'll chat to you guys again as we get through the rest of the day. Dala, come on. Come on. Okay, so just took Nala for a bit of a walk around the block, just to kind of stretch her legs a little bit before I go train. Today is a upper body session, second upper body for the week. I'll actually put a screenshot up of what the workout looks like today. Nala's gonna chill in here. She's got some toys, she'll probably sleep. I'll train, and then gonna get lunch, go for a bit of a walk, and then into a bit of afternoon work. Like I said, Thursdays are pretty chill. My busiest days, I kind of structure it like this, is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Those are basically full days training, but also work. Thursdays, I like to have a bit more of like a half day, bit of work in the morning, bit of work in the afternoon, not a whole lot. And then Friday, Saturdays, same as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, very, very big days. And then Sundays, I just do like
a few little things in the morning, and then the rest of the day is off to kind of chill. So that's the way I've been structuring my weeks at the moment, is working really well. And I imagine that it would continue to work pretty well for me as I basically get on the road. Like it's only me and obviously Nala that I have to take into consideration there. And that works pretty well. It allows me to like get a lot of social media stuff done, stuff for clients, and then still time for myself as well. So I'm gonna go train. I will see you guys when I'm done. Okay, just finished up training. I was going to head to the beach, but the weather's got a bit cloudy, so I didn't really feel like going there. So I'm just at the dog park. Is pretty much the spot I come to during the day, get a little bit of work done. Now I can go out and just kind of roam. It's not usually too busy. So I'm gonna eat my lunch, let her go for a bit of a run around, and then back home after that. I caught up with a little bit of work with some clients, those client check-ins that I was mentioning before, just here sat in the car. And before I finish up with work for the day, I thought I would actually, so obviously I trained earlier, I did film a few things. So I was just gonna pull this video up here on my phone and kind of talk you guys through the things that I was focusing on in this workout and just kind of any thoughts around it. Got these lateral raises here. The main thing I've been really focusing on with these, like very, very slow progressions here, as I've been doing it for quite a while now. As you can see, I've got like the 1.2 kilo plate on the weight stack. So this is a heavier weight stack machine. Some weight stack machines, you could probably find you can go up a plate every time you want to progress. Sometimes if they are heavier though, you'll find you actually won't be able to without like doing less than like half the reps. Some cable machines are just very, very heavy like that. So that's why I've actually stuck these like 1.25 kilo plates on, just to account for that. And the only other thing I'm really focusing on is trying to keep my arm as straight as possible and keeping the angle the same the whole entire time through it. It's just all the movement is now coming from my shoulder and there's nothing from my wrist or elbow. But that was that one. Next we had my chest supported rows. Progressions have been a bit all over the place. Just beside the nerve pain that I had a couple months ago, I felt a little bit of that, nowhere near as bad, just through the traps the other day. And I'm not actually feeling it on these now, like it's actually feeling a lot better, but I was just slowly bringing those weights back to where they were, and I'll slowly build back to where I was about a week ago. Over the next week or two, I won't jump straight back to it. So that's something really important. If there has been, for whatever reason, where you've had to pull the weight back, maybe because of a holiday, or you have injured something, or there's been a little bit of pain 1 week, or there's 1 week you couldn't do it, I wouldn't always jump straight back to where you were. You want to almost like slowly bring yourself back to it. That's going to be the most sensible way to basically reintroduce those weights on a move that you have been avoiding for a while. So just something to note there. The only other thing I have been focusing on is keeping my chest on the actual pad, or trying to sit nice and tall, and then pulling and leading, like with my elbows, yes, but also someone told me this cue is like pulling like with that part of your arm and leading with that. That's actually a really, I personally find that cue works really well for me here. Now I finish up with a little bit of arms. These very similar to the lateral raises have just been very, very slow progressions. The tricep push downs, the main reason that that's been a little bit slower progressions is that I haven't always been able to get on the exact bench, or sometimes I had to swap the variation around. Not ideal, but it's just one of those things due to the equipment I had. The gym was busy, but now I've had a couple weeks on this one and I'm starting to see some progress here. The main focus is keeping my wrists nice and straight, making sure I'm not like getting any sort of movement like that. And then just keeping my back in contact and not letting my elbow move forward on this one. We don't want to have the elbow move forward, as then that's going to be getting movement from your shoulder, which you don't want, and it's going to be taking some tension and work away from your triceps. So all the movement on this is basically coming from the elbow joint, as you can see here. That's going to be the main focus. Even if you can't get as many reps and or weight, that's going to be a really, really big focus, and that's something I'm definitely focusing on here. But I did get an extra rep on that, which was good to see. So these last couple of weeks, I did manage to finally get up to the 16s, and just doing some alternating curls, these actually felt a little bit easier. I match the reps, but at a lower intensity. So probably like 1 or 2 on each side I could probably do. But same thing, sometimes smaller movements, they're just going to be progressing very, very slow, especially when you're using dumbbells. You're not always going to be able to take the same sort of jumps as you would on like a machine or a leg press or a hack squat, bench press, things like that, that have more joints moving, bigger muscles. These are very small muscles, single joint movements, and the jumps are 2 kilos in each hand, which at 14, 15 kilos, that's a big percent. The only other thing that I was really focusing on here, or something that you'll see that I'm doing, is I'm leaning a little bit over to the side that I'm working. A little bit of movement from side to side on a bicep curl like this, on an alternating bicep curl where you're using dumbbells, isn't actually bad. I'd actually recommend it to a lot of my clients, as it's going to angle your elbow right underneath your shoulder, which is going to make you stronger. If we try stay really, really upright, we're going to be lifting and the elbow is going to be out there and the shoulders here. We want them to be stacked and in line with each other. So just a small thing to be focusing on bicep curls there. Definitely something that I always focus on if I'm doing any sort of variation like this. Bless you, Nala. I was going to say one more thing, but I cannot remember what it was. Oh, yes. So movement side to side on a dumbbell curl. No issue with that, as long as it's not super excessive. But what we want to avoid is the movement forward and back, as that starts to tend to lead towards momentum and us trying to shift our weight back so we can be stronger and get that weight up. And then we're not using as much bicep as we want to be. We're basically using other muscles and our momentum and our body weight to move that weight instead of us just purely using the biceps. And then last one, I just started doing this. Is like the 3rd time I've done it. Angle or the framing of this is terrible. But doing a reverse curl, just 1 set twice a week at the end of my session to get a little bit of work through my forearms, as I'm just kind of wanting to, just for ego, vanity reasons, whatever. There's no real other reason than that, really. I just want to get jacked forearms. Sometimes just training has to be like that. Sometimes you just have to be working towards something or have a variation in there that's purely for fun rather than trying to improve your specific lift or any other reason than that. Sometimes you don't need a better reason. Anyway, that was all the exercises that I did film. There was obviously a few other ones in the workout, but overall it was a good session. Work is done for the day, which is awesome. I'm going to go home now and chill out a little bit and then have dinner later. And I'll probably touch base with you guys before I go to bed tonight. So day is pretty much done. Spent like a couple hours. So it's been about 2 to 3 hours since you last saw me. I was talking about my workout, or I was leaving the park. My dinner's on and I'm going to pretty much chill out for the rest of the evening, watching a TV show. I can't remember what the TV show is called. I'll probably put it up here. It's part of the Yellowstone series, which I'd never watched before, but I'm watching it in the chronological order. So they all came out at different times. And I watched the first episode yesterday, and I love like Western TV shows, movies, all of that. And this has been really, really good. I've actually really, like, it's the first episode, obviously, but it's been great so far. I'm going to watch the next one now while I have dinner, and then I'll head to bed, and then tomorrow, another day. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I want a lot more of these videos coming out like this. Like, still going to be putting out the educational stuff, like one educational video, long form video every fortnight is the goal. And then like the weekly vlogs, pretty much like this one. I want to start that as of now, every single week, just basically a day in the life. I might start showing some of my workouts again, but it's just going to be really, I just want to keep it up on like that sort of schedule. Definitely become a bit more exciting once I'm on the road in 2 to 3 weeks time, which I'll definitely be documenting. If there is anything that you guys want to see specifically on that educational stuff, or even on like the vlog sort of style stuff like this, definitely let me know. Put it down in the comments. I'm always keen for feedback, and if there's something that you guys want to see, definitely let me know. Especially these vlog sort of ones are going to be very off the cuff, not really planning them, just going to be getting the camera out and filming, which is very different to everything else that I've been putting out. I'm going to go dinner, watch that show on Netflix or whatever streaming service it is, chill out, and then that's pretty much the day done. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not already, definitely hit subscribe. There's going to be a lot more videos coming out like this, and I will see you in the next one.